Welcome everyone to another round of our T2 Hot Seat segment where we will be interviewing players from around the world in the table tennis world. So today we have none other than Maddie. So Maddie, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone, it's so nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here as well. And we really appreciate you getting some time out of your daily schedule and just talking to us and having a bit of conversation as well with us. So today we'll be doing quite a few fun things and also asking you some personal and fun questions as well. So before we actually get things started, we'll start with a mini segment we like to call the T2 Hot Seat Challenge. And Matilda, do you think you're up for it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty easy. For those who do not know what this is about, I'm going to be throwing some questions onto Matilda. And basically, it's a short and fun game where players such as Matilda herself will be given 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. And they are only going to be given one answer each time. So just one chance only. So each correct answer is going to be worth 1 point. Regardless of your answer given, Matilda, the next question will be asked. So if you're not too sure about what the question is, or you can't really understand what I'm asking, you can skip the question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Let's go. And just one more thing as well. In the final 24 seconds, Matilda, we're gonna have like a bonus point for you. So every correct answer that you get in the final 24 seconds of the 60 seconds, you will get 2 points instead of 1. So you will want to try and get those points if you can.
I'll try my best.
Yeah, you'll be fine. And one last thing to note to everyone as well and yourself is that we will be giving out some prizes for this challenge. So apart from you, Matilda, we have interviewed many other players as well. We have a leaderboard going up. We're just going to see how you will fare against everyone else in this challenge of ours. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is the national flower of Sweden?
Skip.
Where was table tennis invented?
England.
Name me an animal that has 4 legs.
Cat.
What is the size of a table tennis ball?
40 millimeter.
Solve this. 57 plus 7.
64.
Who won the table tennis women's single gold at the 2012 Olympics?
Zhang Yining.
What is the size of Sweden?
I don't know. Skip.
Name me any table tennis move.
Forehand topspin.
Name me a country that starts with A.
Austria.
Which country has the most islands in the world?
Philippines.
All right, there you go. Time is up, but you did pretty awesome. Like, I think you got about 6 to 7 or maybe 8 questions correct. And yeah, you did great.
What
How do you
about
feel?
the last one? What was the correct answer on the last one?
So actually Sweden was the correct answer. So Sweden actually has the most islands in the world.
I should have known that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And do you want to have a guess how many islands does Sweden have?
It's like 10,000 or maybe more.
It's like, according to Google, it says 221,000. So
Okay.
I'm not sure how that works, but I probably gotta fact check that.
Yeah, some of them are really, really tiny. But yeah, we have many.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been to any of those tiny islands before or stepped on
Yeah,
them?
actually this summer I was outside Stockholm on one of those islands. It's amazing, so beautiful.
Oh man, I wish I was able to travel to Stockholm and just visit one of those islands. It sounds lovely. Sounds very lovely. And have you, obviously, you've been traveling around a bit. I guess, do you want to let us know, like, where are you right now and what have you been up to lately?
So yeah, I actually moved to New York exactly when the pandemic started.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, from Sweden to New York, and I retired from my professional career as a player. And since then, I've been living here throughout the pandemic, and I started coaching here and now also I have transitioned into a management role at our club, Pink Pod, and yeah, that's what I'm doing now, management and coaching. So it's been really interesting 1.5 years since I retired, but I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great. And obviously, moving to another country like New York, is there a lot of change for you? Like, how's the food? How's the weather? Like, are you used to it?
Well, many things are so different, like much more than I thought.
Yeah.
First of all, the summers here are just way longer. So
Oh, yeah.
just until like a few days ago, I could wear shorts and t-shirt outside, while Sweden already kind of have snow. So
Yeah.
that's pretty nice. Also, it's much more sunny.
Yep.
So I really enjoy the weather here for sure. And yeah, I mean, everything is different. The diversity here is it's amazing. Like people from all over the world is gathered in one city.
Awesome.
So
That's great.
also the restaurants, just life in general is just it's very interesting. There's something going on all the time, everywhere. So it's...
Man, that sounds exciting. Like I haven't been to New York myself, but I'm sure it's one of the most busiest cities in the world. And even with the pandemic, right, last year when it happened, I'm sure right now it's picking things up. There's a bit more live around, and maybe could you just share with us like one of your favorite food in New York? Because I know New York is famous for quite a few things. But have you got like a favorite food you managed to pick up yet, or like a go-to place in New York?
I would say the fact that there is so much to choose from is what I love about it. But I know also what people in Mexico and on the west coast of the U.S. would say. But I really love the Mexican food here. It's so much better than
the
other places
burritos,
I've
the
been to.
nachos.
Yeah, but what they say is on the west coast is better, and in Mexico it's even better than that. So I'm looking forward to try that.
Apart from table tennis, growing up, was there any sport that you play or watch, or even right now, do you do any other sports other than table tennis?
When I was young, I was very interested in sports in general. I followed in the news and on TV all kinds of sports, mostly soccer, football, as we say in most of the world. But when I got older, I that interest kind of disappeared, and I only kept my interest for table tennis, of course. But now people are usually surprised when I say that I'm not into sports at all.
So you don't watch any other thing apart from table tennis, like nothing at all?
No, I like to play sports,
no.
but yeah, that's totally different, obviously. So no.
Yeah. Crazy, but because in New York, there's a lot of things going on, like the American football. Have you been to any one of those games at all?
No, no. I was about to go to a hockey match actually this week because my childhood team, Calgary Flames, they were playing here in New York, so it was like one chance in 1 year to go see them.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, maybe next year.
Weekend. But hockey is interesting. Have you actually skated on the ice before? Do you know how to?
Yeah,
skate?
I used to play a little bit when I was a kid. We had a hockey team, so yeah, I really enjoyed that. And again, I enjoy playing and skating, but yeah, to watch is just not interesting for me anymore.
Yeah, you have a pretty long table tennis career, even though you start pretty late. And maybe could you just share with us one of your most exciting moment or memory from table tennis?
Oh, I have a few different things that stand out, and a part of my I got a few international medals at European Championships, and I'm super proud of those. And I was number 9 at the World Championships singles one time. And I feel like those were amazing results, and I played my best. But My maybe best memories are still from both when I played the T2 in Singapore, the T2 APAC,
Yep.
and also the Indian League in India. I played it
Yeah.
twice.
Wow. Okay.
Because those it was big difference between that and when playing on the world tour, because we played together with men on the same team.
Yeah. Very
And
different.
it was just so interesting, and we stayed in the same hotel for
Yep.
weeks at the time, and it was just so great feeling to be all in a group and being friends, but also being opponents. So
Yes.
those are my fondest memories, I would say, from my career.
But hopefully next year we might have something, and maybe you can be a part of it. Even though I know you're not playing anymore, but you could come back maybe as a legend. How does that sound for you? Do you like the idea of it?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to put you guys all in the same hotel, get the same spirit of family. I think that's very important, because getting around players not just as competitors or your opponents, but really as friends, because you're all building the same sport and part of the same sport family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I guess like with that as well, like, is there anyone right now that you're really closely connected with in the table tennis world, be it in New York or around the world?
Well, so there's a big time difference to Europe, where I have most of my friends, but
Yeah.
just like in T2 APAC, my best friend was Georgina Pota, and
Yeah.
she's always gonna be a good friend of mine. And then there's Galia Dvorak from Spain, and but other than that, it's like I said, it's hard to keep in touch when there's 6 hours time difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think most of the people, my friends, are like lifelong friends for sure. If I see them in
Yeah.
10 years, it's gonna be the same.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any one of them, have you met them recently at all?
No, not really at all, because of the pandemic. And now most of them are coming to Houston to play World Championships.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go there badly, but I just don't have time, because I have so much to do. And yeah, in December, I'm also traveling to the country of Jordan to coach some of the ITTF Hopes, which are
Wow.
the
The
most
young,
the
juniors.
best young players in the world. So that's very exciting.
That is very, very exciting. Like, you're basically training up the new generation of table tennis players who could one day walk the same path as you did. How amazing is that?
Yeah, it's exciting, and I'm really happy to be a part of the whole thing with ITTF too. So
yeah, it's gonna be amazing, I reckon. Well, talking about, I guess, the ITTF Hope program. Maybe could you just share with us a bit about how you actually kickstart your career? What was it like for you when you started out playing when you were much younger? Were there any challenges or any special memories?
Whoa, there is so much to say about that. Well, I started playing when I was 7. Played a lot with my dad in the beginning, and slowly got better. And my career, I was kind of a late bloomer, I would say, because I got better slowly. So my peak was when I was well over 30 years old. But that was maybe good too, because it meant I enjoyed the whole time, because I kept getting better and better slowly but surely. So when I finally felt like now I kind of reached my peak and I'm not getting better anymore, then it was kind of easy decision to retire. So I had a long and great career, but it was the right time to finish, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess during that whole entire career, you were a big part of the Swedish national team as well. What was it like representing them at the Olympics or at various World Championships or ITTF events? Was it something that you're very proud of?
Yeah, obviously. I remember the first times when they played the Swedish hymn.
Mm.
and raised the flag when we had
Yep.
some matches against other countries. And I was thinking to myself, like, how did this happen? That I'm playing for the national team. Like, when I started out, it was I didn't have that clear goal, like how
Mm.
good I want to be. But then
Yep.
suddenly I was just there, and it was a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, because you got better and better over the years, and by the time you're 30, when you're at your peak, it just gotten really surreal. Like you are actually living a dream of representing your country on your chest and just going out there to play the sport that you love. And that's really something that not many people can experience, right?
No, yeah, I'm incredibly grateful for my for my career and the table tennis sport itself.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. And I guess as well, in entire career as well, there were so many games that you played before, so many championships that you were a part of. Was there any game that you could look back and you were like, if I could look back and play again, you would want to do things differently? Is there any game? I'm pretty sure there's a few, right?
Yeah, there are a few ones. I've played a few times against Chinese national team players coming from the first team.
Yep.
And I lost 4-3, 12-10 one time against
Very narrow,
Murphy.
yes. Very, very close games.
Yeah, and but after the match, I still felt like, well, I did my best. That this was the chance of my life.
That's great.
But I did my best, so no regrets really. And
Exactly.
you learn from all the matches, but obviously some losses were harder than others.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good mentality to have. I think a lot of players these days, we talk about table tennis, we forgot about the fact that apart that it's being a very physical game, it's a lot on the mental game as well, am I right? And I think what you shared earlier on shows that you have a very strong mental game. Could you maybe just translate, now that you're a coach, how do you try and, I guess, cultivate that into your people that you coach? How do you train the mental part of the game? Do you have any tips at all?
Yeah, so when I coach and I speak to my students, I really try to talk about that too, and not just forehand and backhand, but also how to cope with the stress and what to focus on in a match. Because also many of my players, they practice a lot and then they go to a tournament once a month, let's say.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of still in practice mode when they go to the tournament.
Yeah.
Instead of just being there and kind of focus on a few things, but definitely not too much on the technical aspects, because that's something you should already be done with when you go into the tournament. Great. Because you can't really fix those things in the match. So you want to leave that behind when you play the match. And that's something I try to encourage a lot.
And I just want to ask as well, like, how did that transition into being a coach? Was it a difficult choice for you to make, or obviously did it make sense for you because you already know all these things at the back of your head?
Yeah, it was quite an easy choice to become a coach because I felt like I have so much knowledge about something that it would be sad if that all went to waste.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I have a lot to contribute. But then on the other hand, it's a totally different thing to coach somebody than to be a player yourself, because you have to put yourself in their shoes and not just come with your experience, and you have to communicate and understand the other person. So it's a real challenge as well, but that's also what makes it interesting. So I feel like I got the best of two worlds. Like, I have the experience, but I also learned something new. So it's really great.
That's great, because when you are a coach or a teacher yourself, you're learning something new every day from your students. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's a great part of it. I guess something else that maybe you can share with us. If you were to think of 3 tips, all right, any 3 at all, like you would give to any aspiring athletes out there who are looking to conquer the world stage just like yourself, what are some of the tips that you'll give them?
Yeah, if it's a if it's somebody who wants to become good at table tennis, then number one is to have fun, because
it's great.
it's the most competitive sport you can ever imagine. So if you're
Yeah.
not enjoying it, then don't even bother, because it's just it's such a tough sport. You have
Great.
a so big part of Asia is just professional players everywhere, and yeah, you need to be ready for that. That it's hard, but if you enjoy it, then it's worth it, because it's a beautiful sport.
Awesome.
So yeah, that would be my number one thing for sure.
Yeah, to have fun.
And other than that, I always focus a lot on the basics. You want to have them down before you start to talk about the details. To have the balance correct, the footwork, the stance, the position of your body, and the distance to the table, where you have your racket. Those things are what I focus on. And if you have those things down, then you can start to work on the details, and then you can really there is no stop. But if you don't have the basics down, then you will always hit a wall where you can't get better, because you're just not doing it properly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So have fun, know your basics, because when you have a strong foundation, you can then focus on everything else and it will all make sense. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that is awesome tips. Like, if you're an aspiring athlete out there listening to this video, Matilda has just shared with us some really awesome tips. So don't forget to have fun and get your basics right. If you're not too sure how to do that, I'm sure Matilda have a lot of videos of tips on your channel as well, right?
Yeah. So Galia Dvorak from Spain and I, we have a YouTube channel. Now we haven't uploaded anything in a while, but we're on it, and we both enjoy it when we have time, and we love to share what we know about the sport. So yeah, check out that.
Yeah, that's great. Everyone, check out that channel when it's available. And even though obviously Matilda and you guys are building up a lot more videos in the future, now I know I'm just gonna move on to maybe another topic of ours that I think you are very familiar with. But obviously this is something that I think every one of us in the sporting world should be acknowledging as well, is really equality in sports, because this has been a topic that has been pretty prominent over the past few years, and with the recent Olympics as well. I think they shared about how it's the most gender equality Olympics ever, but there were still some things that were not mentioned. So I guess, Matilda, from your perspective, if you could just share with us throughout growing up, what is your take on gender equality in sports in general, not just table tennis, but in general?
Yeah, well, that's a big question. But I usually say that well, my own experience was that I grew up in a country that is, in general, pretty equal in many parts of the country. Or like, how do I say? Like, a lot of things in Sweden are pretty equal. When it comes to sport, it was never equal during my career. Even though I saw the progress with every year. So by the end of my career, it was already a lot better. But growing up, it was sometimes really hard to see how the boys would get. They had more money, basically, more funding.
Yes.
To get better, which made fewer girls interested in pursuing this career and stopping to play earlier, meaning less girls played. And then less small girls saw
professional
active
athletes,
girls playing, so it was like a spiral going down. And so there were never really role models around for the younger ones. So, but on the other hand, the boys, they just saw like the possibilities. And many times that felt very unfair. And it was hard. But like I said, I saw that there are improvements happening. So since I love the sport so much, like I said before, I got better all the time. I stayed with it, and even though there were some hard years with very low pay,
Yeah.
I still managed to go through it. And by the end of my career, I could earn some decent money,
Yeah.
get some salary,
Yep.
and yeah, now I'm very happy to keep fighting for it and improve the conditions even more for the younger female players.
Wow, that's amazing. I think you are pretty much an inspiration to all the younger athletes. But I just want to ask you, do you see yourself as like a role model who will be promoting gender equality in sports?
I think it's hard to say that I see myself as a role model, but I would
Yep.
like to help in this, and I have a lot of experience, and I've already done project together with my Swedish Table Tennis Association, and
Yep.
we have been having online meetings during the pandemic and
Yep.
finding ways to encourage girls to start playing and women
Yep.
to keep playing.
Mm.
And all the science shows that we need more female leaders, because
Great.
you need to, like, statistically more girls will continue to play if they have a
Yep.
female coach. So
Yes,
that's
very true.
one very big part. And yeah, for that we also need women and females in all the higher positions, not just coaching,
Yes, that's
but
right.
in the boards and throughout the sport, because until now the sport has been by men, with men,
Yes,
and
heavily
for men.
dominated.
So
Yes, that is very, very true. I think, like what you shared, I think a lot of sports executives, positions, and those in the higher management level, they are mainly dominated by males. But like what you said, there has been a lot of change since when you were younger and until now. Things are happening, and for the better and for the greater good. So, I mean, from what I can see, Matilda, I think you're one of those women out there who are actually spearheading this entire movement. And I think it's great that you mentioned that you're starting up a new project as well, or building up the working blocks of a project with the Swedish national team. Am I right? So
yeah,
that
with the whole federation. So not just the
yeah,
national team, but also from the grassroots level,
that's great.
where it all starts. So
Yes,
we need to
yes.
get more females involved with the
Participation.
sport.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. With all the females coming in, naturally that pool will hopefully stay in the sport. And when they reach to that position, they will one day be representing the national team. I guess I was gonna ask you the question about like, what do you see, what would you like to see happen in the next 10 to 20 years in terms of women empowerment in the sports? Like, do you have like maybe a few things that you want to share about that? What do you want to see in the next 10 to 20 years?
Well, I want to see this development continuing until we've reached status quo, where it's not even needed to talk about these things anymore.
Yes,
Where we
correct.
Yeah, where it's a natural thing that women gets the same focus as the men.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, 100%. Well, yeah, thank you so much for sharing about equality in sports and what you've actually been through yourself. I'm sure there were many times where it was pretty hard, especially when you're not getting much pay and everything. But look at you now, like living in New York, and obviously working in like a table tennis facility, doing management, and also coaching in the ITTF as well. I think that's something that you should be proud of. Maybe before we close off, I just wonder, maybe you can maybe share with us what is your motto in life, and do you have any inspirational quote out there that you live by?
Yeah, I'm not really good with inspirational quotes.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty spiritual in general, and I like to meditate.
Great.
Yeah, when I do that, and I feel I'm at peace with myself and the world. I try to live by that a lot,
It's
but
great.
when I don't, I guess some of the people watching this have seen me go crazy at the table,
Yep.
throwing my racket and
Yes.
behaving badly, and that was me not having meditated enough. That's for sure. I'm a very emotional person, and I feel all the ups and downs, but that's also great. But I keep it under control when I meditate, and yeah, that's something I can recommend to everyone.
And you mentioned about how you throw your rackets during games and stuff like that. I think a common misconception is that people think that you're angry at your opponents, but
yeah.
you're more of just angry at the game.
Yeah. It's all about frustration with my own performance and pressure
Yes.
from the outside. It has nothing to do with the opponent. Yeah, I always respect my opponent, even sometimes too much.
That's awesome. Well, look, thank you so much for your time today, because I think we covered so many different topics. But really, I just want to really appreciate you and thank you so much for your time. And you being in New York right now, hopefully the COVID situation gets a bit better, and hopefully you can start to travel more freely again. And then we'll be able to meet up soon. But to all the listeners or all the viewers out there watching this video, I hope you get inspired, and I hope you enjoyed this video of ours. Remember to check out Matilda's channel as well for some amazing table tennis tips. So that's it for now, and yeah, stick around. See ya.
Thank you so much.